he very much gives the president the benefit of the doubt. When it's a ball up in the air and it's a 50-50 call, he comes down clearly on the side that it's not.
Last question for you. Looking at this, with all of your experience in the FBI, is this the type of work product that you expected, both in terms of its coherence, but also just in terms of its quality?
It is, absolutely. From Director Mueller, this is the work product you expect. It is broad, it is professional, it is dispassionate, it is incredibly factual. And from the men and women who worked on this investigation, many of whom I know personally and worked with for many years, this is an extraordinary work product produced under incredible stress and during tough times. And I'm just incredibly proud of it.
Stress and tough times, you can attest to personally. Andrew McCabe is former deputy director, former acting director of the FBI. His book is called The Threat: How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump. It's an honor to have you here with us tonight, sir.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Thanks. More ahead tonight. Stay with us. Joining us now is the great Barbara McQuade, former U.S. Attorney in the state of Michigan. Barb, thank you for being with us tonight. I've been looking forward to talking to you.
Honored to be here on Mueller Night.
I have a specific legal question. At the end of Appendix D, there's this list of cases that have been referred for prosecution. There's 14 of them. 12 of the 14 are totally blacked out. Those are cases that Mueller has said, we've identified evidence that criminal activity may have happened. You, other law enforcement entities, should consider a prosecution. That's what referral means in that context?
Yes, and it doesn't just mean, we notice something minor. This is a very significant matter. We perceived it to be beyond the scope. We know Robert Mueller took a very narrow view of his scope of investigation, and so some other entity ought to investigate it. For example, we know in the college bribery scheme, that case started because a cooperator in a securities fraud case talked about bribes from a coach, and that's how that began. So when you have that kind of thing, you find out, you sort of stumble upon evidence of a case while you're investigating another, you don't ignore it if it is significant. So the fact that he referred it to others says to me it was beyond the scope, his narrow scope, and it was significant.
Okay. Right before that, in Appendix D, there's a different section that isn't things that have been referred for prosecution by Mueller. They are cases that have been transferred. So this is cases, a whole bunch of them we've heard of. It's Manafort, Gates, Bijan, Keon, GRU, IRA, blah, 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 blah. All these cases that we knew were ongoing. 2 of those cases are redacted. Now, I understand the name being redacted when it's just been referred from prosecution and no charges have been brought yet. But when it's an ongoing case that's been transferred, how are we not allowed to know who those defendants are? Those are sealed cases. Those are people who have been indicted, that the indictment hasn't been unsealed. Those people are still at large. I mean, what does that mean?
Not clear, but it does suggest to me that it was within what Mueller perceived to be his narrow scope.
Sure.
So they're somewhere in the pipeline, unrelated to the specific scope of links between the Trump campaign and the Russian government, but things that came up that he was investigating along the way and has now transferred. It could be Russians who are overseas and are fugitives.
But it would be, there's no reason they'd be redacted in this report if we've had their names publicly made available.
Yeah.
So there are 2 ongoing cases that were started by Mueller where we don't know who they're against.
Absolutely right.
Do you also agree that this is essentially a roadmap on the obstruction stuff for either prosecutors after the president has left office or Congress now to pursue those in court and or through impeachment?
Yeah, that's the way I read what Robert Mueller wrote about it would be unfair to charge somebody, to talk about charges now when he can't defend himself. It's not appropriate to charge a sitting president. I don't think he anticipated that William Barr would jump in and say, and so that leaves it to me, the Attorney General, to decide there will be no obstruction of justice charges. But there's nothing to stop Congress from picking this up now, and nothing to stop a subsequent Department of Justice from charging in 2020.
Barbara McQuade, thank you for being here. You've been a clarion voice throughout this entire process. Stay with us forever.
My pleasure to do so. Thanks, Rachel.
All right, that does it for this second. We'll see you again really soon.
The Rachel Maddow Show, weeknights at 9 Eastern on MSNBC.
Hi, it's Mika Brzezinski.
It's not great.
People who want to believe that they run on yours, just going to believe anything that they're not.
I mean, it's not hit me on the past, right? I mean,
You're going to
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all the facts in the world, even that people who want to bring them, I mean, I'm not talking about anything, a lot of this stuff is lies. And another thing is calling it. That's our president doing the best job. Trump lashes out. Sorry about it. That just popped out right as I was describing. Dad, special counsel said, Democrats issued a subpoena for the full document. President Trump on Friday attacked the credibility of Robert Mueller's report, saying it contained fabricated and total bullshit statements. While House Democrats issued a subpoena demanding an unredacted version as they honed in on the president's efforts to derail the special counsel. Mr. Trump had recently held a report that's exonerating him based on a summary letter of top findings by Attorney General William Barr months ago, and he praised Mueller as having acted in honor of vilifying him as better versions. But on Friday, Mr. Trump questioned the authenticity of administration crazy Mueller report and is written by an angry Democrat Trump supporters, which are fabricated and watch out for people that take so-called notes when the notes never existed until I never agreed to testify. It was not necessary for me to respond to statements made in the report about me, some of which are total bullshit and only given to make the other person look good or me to look bad. This was an illegally started policy that never should have happened. The day after Mr. Mueller's redacted reports interference with the Justice Department, the ramifications reverberated in every corner of Washington. The report also focused attention on the testimony of White House aides who cooperated with the probe and whose accounts are now in the public domain. Friday morning, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders sought to explain the statement she made to reporters in May 2017 that the White House had heard from countless federal investigation agents that they had lost confidence in FBI Director James Comey, who Mr. Trump had fired. Democrats Friday demanded the full text of the document without the redactions made by Mr. Barr in the evidence that Jerry Nadler asked the Justice Department to comply with the subpoena by me. Special counsel didn't exonerate President Trump, effectively moving the question to Congress. Democrats in Congress found the report liberal evidence for future investigation, but among the focus there is limited impeachment proceeding to argue conviction from Senate no president has ever been removed after being impeached. It's not as the average just yet. Jerry Connolly, Senator of Virginia, member of the Oversight Committee. But if you're someone seeking reassurance that impeachment is out of the question because Mueller found no evidence by the president, that is not true. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is scheduled to call with the Democratic caucus for Monday to discuss this race. On Friday, one prominent 2020 presidential hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren to begin impeachment proceedings, citing what she called misdemeanor misconduct by the Democrats.